Hi everyone, it's Miss Lynn from the Southington Public Library, here today with another Apple Valley artist, growing artist ages 5 to 7 program for you. And every month in Apple Valley Artist, we do some sort of artist study, or maybe we learn a new art technique or some art history, and we make a project. And today's project, we're going to be making artist viewfinders, and I'll explain all about what an artist viewfinder is, and we're going to use our viewfinders to make a tissue paper collage. So if you've registered for Apple Valley Artists, you were given a take-home kit that had all the materials necessary to learn about artist viewfinders and to make our tissue paper collage. And if you didn't happen to register, not a problem. Just follow along with us, and if you're any age, follow along with us, because artist viewfinders are really cool, and all of these materials I'm sure are things you have around your home or can be easily gotten very inexpensively at the dollar store. So come along, and we're going to learn about viewfinders. And I'm just going to show you what our project is going to be today. So this may look very simple, okay, but it is an artist viewfinder. Okay, so here are two examples of viewfinders. We're going to make one, and you were given one in your kit. But when you think about when you are trying to come up with something to paint or sculpt or draw, sometimes your choices are limitless. It's hard to choose just one thing that you're going to paint or draw in a single sitting or in a day. But so there is something that artists do use. I mean, if you think about it, you can make anything. You could make a landscape. A landscape is art that uses the natural elements. So it might be a painting or a sculpture just using natural elements like mountains, rivers, animals. Sometimes there's a building or two. Or it might be a still life. It might be that an artist has put together objects that don't move at all on a table, let's say, like a vase or a fruit, just something that sits on a table that they can really study, and it doesn't move around like an animal or a person, and they can paint or draw or sculpt it. Or a portrait. Maybe you want to make a portrait. Maybe you want to draw or paint or sculpt a person, a real person. And a portrait is just, it's their expression and the person themselves. So one thing when an artist is looking to compose their work, if they've decided, I want to make a landscape or a still life or a portrait, that's just not the end of the story. They need to compose it. They need to think about how the items in that painting are going to be composed or arranged. It's just a fancy word. How am I going to arrange those items in that still life? How am I going to arrange that fruit? Or what part of that mountain do I want to use? Or how am I going to seat the person that I'm going to make their portrait? How am I going to move them? What do I want them to look like? Are they sitting? Are they standing? How am I going to compose it? And a handy little trick that an artist uses is called a viewfinder, and it's very simple. And what an artist viewfinder allows you to do, it's all an artist viewfinder is it could be a square like this one, or it could be a rectangle like this one, and it just is a little tool that an artist will look through just to kind of decide how different things look. It kind of, if you wanted to focus on a particular person or an object or a place without getting distracted by everything around it, putting this in front of it really lets you look. So if you were going to do my entire face, maybe you just wanted to capture part of it. Maybe just the eyes and the nose and the mouth. This lets you kind of look around and see what part of it that you want to actually make some artwork for. It also allows the artist to look at how, if I put something close up, how does something look? But if I do it far away, does that change what I'm going to make my art of? And it also, you can crop things out. I just want to make an eye, just want to really highlight someone's glasses or someone's ear because they're a good listener, or just their hands, maybe just someone's hands because they work so hard. I just want to highlight their hands, and I don't want to get distracted by anything outside of it. And the best way to use a viewfinder is, if your paper that you're working on is square, use a square viewfinder. But if you're going to draw like we're going to do on a rectangular piece of paper, you might want to try using a rectangular viewfinder. See how it really puts things into focus and allows you to really concentrate on that. Before we actually make a viewfinder, I just want to tell you a couple of things about it. A viewfinder actually works best if you close one eye when you look through it. I'm going to do it this way. Okay, it actually is, it does work best. You don't have to do that, but it does work best if you close one eye while you're doing it. And you know what, you actually, if you're out somewhere and you really get inspired to make a piece of art on something, you don't need a fancy viewfinder. All you have to do is you just have to take your two hands, okay, and you just make an L, the backwards L, okay. You just make L's with your thumb and your forefinger. With your left hand, leave it so the back of your hand is facing you. With your right hand, just turn it so the back of your hand is facing out. Touch your index finger to each thumb like this, and look at, you now have a viewfinder. You can crop things right out and really just focus on a particular person, object, or place that you would like to do that. One other interesting thing about using a viewfinder is in a painting or a sculpture or any kind of artwork, there is something called the rule of thirds. You don't really have to use it. You can or you can't, but a lot of artists believe that if they take a viewfinder and they make it, they take the space inside of the viewfinder and they cut it into they kind of separate it into 9 equal squares or pieces, kind of like a tic-tac-toe board. If they line up the most interesting parts of their composition on those points where the lines intersect, that makes for a more visually interesting piece of art. That you don't have to use the rule of thirds. Doesn't really matter if you use it or not. It's just something that some artists believe and some don't. So in your packet, if you did sign up for the program, you already have a rectangular viewfinder. This has been provided for you, and it's just an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock, red cardstock, and I just cut out an inner rectangle and I just left 1 inch along the side. So you could certainly do that with another piece of paper. You could use something maybe a little stronger. This is cardstock, but if you had a cereal box, cut out the back of the cereal box or the front, and then just cut out the inside. And then you can use that. Just use that. And if you are using it, try to keep it at arm's length and try to keep your shoulders straight and hold it pretty steady. But I think you know what to do. And so the other one we're going to make this rectangular one right here. So I've provided for you a lot of materials, but I'm just going to show you what materials that you need to have at a time, because we're actually making 2 projects with this. So in your kit, you were given 4 craft sticks. Okay, so you're going to take out so really all you need for the first one is the 4 craft sticks from your kit and the 4 pieces of yarn. If you didn't register, so you were given 4 pieces of yarn, each piece of yarn is 6 inches long, okay? But you don't have to measure it ahead of time, you could measure it after. Okay? You're also going to need some tape, some glue, and some tape. Okay? And if you're doing this from home, you're going to obviously need some scissors for the yarn. So the first thing you're going to do is we need to just make the outside. We need to make the square. Okay. So you're just going to take your four craft sticks. I'll move back here a little bit. You're going to take your 4 craft sticks and you're just going to put them in a square formation. Okay. Then you're going to take your glue. Hope my glue works today, which it doesn't, might not. Looks like it's a little bit dry. All you're going to do is you're going to take, in fact, you know what, let me see, can I get it out? Okay, I can just do it this way. Perfect. Okay, so you're going to take your 4 craft sticks and you're going to put them in a square, and all you're going to do is you are going to put a dab on each of these 2 corners, just so that you can put them together. Okay, a little bit. Normally I would just put a dab, but it doesn't look like my glue is going to cooperate today, but that's fine. So put it on the two corners here. It's fine. Problem. Okay. And then you're just going to take your other 2 and lay them right on top. Just like that. Easy peasy, okay? Now, if you use glue, you're going to need to let that dry for a little while. You could also use tape if you're really itchy to start a project, but if you've got a little time, I would suggest using the glue and letting it dry. And just like a cooking show, the magic of video, I'm going to move mine over, because here's one I did ahead of time and it's all dry. So what I need to do next is I just want to add my string, so I have the rule of thirds so that I can look through it and put the most interesting parts of my composition right where the strings line up. Okay? And it's really easy. It sounds really hard to do, but it's actually very easy. Okay, so you're going to take this and you're going to place it in front of you. Okay, so when you're looking at it, you have the 2 horizontal bars. Okay, the top one that goes across left to right and the bottom one that goes across left to right. Horizontal, just when you think of horizontal, think of the sun. The sun comes up on the horizon, which is flat. Okay, and all you're going to do, and you don't need to measure it, you just really need to eyeball it, is take one of your pieces of string, okay, and you're going to lay it kind of about 1/3 of the way over. You can even put your other one so that it lines up, okay, so it's going up and down. Take a piece of tape, and now you just need to attach it. Okay, so I'm just going to tape one to the top, tape the other one to the top. Okay, and I'm just going to pull it straight down. Pull it nice and tight. Straight down to the bottom bar. Pull this one down nice and tight, straight down to the bottom bar. Okay. I can get really fancy and cut them if I wanted to, but I don't. Maybe I might do that later, okay? And now you're just going to go ahead. You can either turn it and do the same thing up and down, or you can place it down and then just lay the other 2 across. So just kind of put them down, eyeball them, and just make a tic-tac-toe board. Easy peasy. Okay, anchor it to one side, anchor it to the other side. Same thing. Pull it tight across and anchor it down. There you go. Okay, nice tic-tac-toe board. Now there's one more thing you can do if you like. I think if you have some markers hanging around, why not? Love this box. If you have some markers hanging around, why don't you just go ahead and decorate it and make it your own? Okay? I'll leave you to do that. You can do that now, you can do that later, whatever you'd like. Okay, so now what you need to do is now you need to go out and you need to find something to make, something to draw or paint or sculpt, okay? So, and I've given you those materials to make a tissue paper collage, but now what you want to do is, again, think about what you'd like to make. Take your new Viewfinder or the rectangular one that's been provided for you, either one, and just go out, go outside, go inside, go wherever you want. Think about what you want to make, a person, whatever, and a place, an object, and then just kind of walk around a little bit. Get up really close to it, get really far away, and see how that changes the look of what it is that you're making. Because, you know, the way that you change your look or the way that you compose things, you know, it kind of, the different views you're looking at can do a lot for you. You can think about how the way the different views through your viewfinder, how they look or they make you feel, or what exactly about that object or place that you want to highlight in your work and really concentrate and get in close or far away, how much detail you want or how much you don't. Try both. Try both your square and your rectangular one. And then when you do find something, we're going to make a picture of it. So what I did was I found a rose. If you did get our take-home kit, you're going to see that I found this beautiful rose outside a window. It was actually a photograph of one outside of a window, and I just put, all I did was I put my viewfinder up to it, and I kind of looked at it and saw the most interesting parts of the rose, the parts that really made me, you know, think how beautiful this rose is. What did I want to highlight about this rose? And I put my viewfinder up to it, and then I just took, also in your kit, I just took some cardstock. I have some white cardstock and a pencil and some tissue paper. So while I had my viewfinder up to the rose, I just went ahead and did a really quick pencil sketch, okay? Okay, and all I did, don't get too detailed with your sketch, you just want the outline of your sketch. Okay, so I'm just gonna make a really fast rose here. There's my petal. There are some of the leaves, okay? Just some really quick lines. Doesn't really look like anything. And then all a collage is a picture made of small pieces of paper, okay? And I've given, if you signed up, I gave everybody, I believe, 11 pieces of cardstock of all different colors. So there are many different things that you could make with it, many different views. Pretty much, I hope whatever view you come up with that you want to recreate in your tissue paper collage, hopefully we've provided some colored tissue paper for you, because the tissue paper is what you're going to use to put the color into your collage. And so all you need to do, so it is torn pieces. Now you could take, I'm going to take some of my pink here. All I need to do, so it was a pink rose. So all I did was I took my pink paper and I tore it. You could, if you wanted to, you could use scissors and make it into pieces. I just did, you know, big shapes or big and small pieces. I just really wanted to tear some paper. And all I'm going to do is use this paper to make the color on my collage. So I have my glue. And so experiment a little bit. How big is the paper you're going to use? Or how small is the paper? Am I going to cut it in little tiny pieces? Am I going to rip it with my hands? Use some big, some small? What am I going to do? Am I going to crumple it? Crumpling it will give it texture. So I could crumple it, and then I look on my collage where I want to put that bit of color, and I just put a little bit of glue, and I put some tissue paper. That crumpling it gives it a little bit of lift. It pops it out. I could just have easily taken this flat piece. Maybe I want to use this little flat piece over here to show just how smooth and delicate that one petal was that I love so much. Maybe I want to make that not torn but cut so it doesn't look so jaggedy. I have a lot. Maybe I don't want to make it pink. Maybe it was pink outside my window, but maybe I like the color purple a little bit better, and I can make this rose any color that I want. And I'm just going to go ahead and stuff down that paper and really draw on the paper, put in the color, really paint with the tissue paper. So for my rose, what I did, again, magic of film, I went ahead and I wanted to keep mine the same. So I just went ahead and filled it in with the blues of the skies and the stem and the different petals, and I gave it some darker colors just so you could see where the different petals kind of formed around each other. And it was really neat because when I took that viewfinder and put it right up to the rose, it really let me concentrate on the rose and really focus on it. You know, sometimes we think we see everything, we think we see the details and things, but we're really not as focused a lot of times as we think we are. And that's really what an artist viewfinder does. It just lets you focus and concentrate and keep everything out and really make your art tell the stories exactly that you want to tell. And so I hope you've enjoyed our Apple Valley Artist Project today with our viewfinders, and you can use these viewfinders over and over and over again. Hopefully you'll be making art over and over and over again. And I hope it inspires you to make some art today and to really look at the people and the places and the objects around you. And it might seem like a very ordinary object around you, but if you really take the time and look at the details of it, I'm sure you can make a beautiful piece of art from it. So you have a great day, and we'll see you really soon with another Apple Valley artist. Bye, everyone.